Thank you, John, for your meditation. I really needed that to relax a little bit. Thank you, Reverend Shell. And thank you all of you behind the scene and here serving, bringing this Sunday celebrations together. Today's topic is, you cannot outgive God. And Reverend Denise has been talking about the book that we dedicated, The 4 Spiritual Law of Prosperity by Edwin Gain. I don't know how to do this. Oh. Okay. So she is talked about it for the past 2 weeks, and this month we are dedicated to plant the seed of prosperity. Some of you met Reverend Deborah. I met her outside of this community almost 20 years ago. She was offering a seminar called 5 Mistakes Women Make When They Start Their Business. And I was interested because I was starting my accounting business at the time. I met her at the seminar. End of the seminar, I asked her, would she be willing to consult me in my business to launch my business? And she said yes. Then she added, I'm offering a 10-week prosperity class. Would you be? I think it will. It is a value to your process. I said, let me check on that, because I was working at a job on a retail store. My normal schedule includes Sunday. So I went to my boss and I asked her, would she be willing to adjust my schedule so I can take this 10-week class? And she said, no problem. We'll switch you from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I called Deborah next day and said, I adjusted my schedule. I'm available. Can I come to your class? And she said, of course. The class is free. You just have to pay $30 for the kit. And by the way, she added, why don't you come 10 o'clock? We have a meditation. 10:30, we have a celebration. And then we take a short break. And then we start the class promptly at 12. And it ends at 2. Bring a brown bag lunch so you're not hungry during the class. I said, okay, everything sounds reasonable. I walked into that was my first time, entered the center, and I have not left here yet. When I went to the first class, she handed me the kit and said, there's a commitment card in there. Please sign the card before end of the class. Those of you who have taken the class, you know what I'm talking about. I have the card. I'll read it to you. I will attend each week. You check that box. I will spend time daily contemplating on and study the prosperity principles. Check, no problem. I will tithe 4 hours of my time and talent each week. I had to think about that a little bit, because I was just starting my business and I'm working full-time job. Where's the 4 hours going to come from? But I can manage. I checked that. I will tithe 10% of my income to the spiritual center during the 10 weeks. Whoa, wait a minute. Stop right there. That's not happening. At the time, with a W-2 or a paycheck, We all know exactly how much money comes in, how much money goes out. I'm an accountant. I do budget every year. I have no extra 10% to where is this 10% going to come from. So I handed the kit back to her and said, thank you, no thank you. This is the part she made me think about. She didn't judge me. She didn't ask me any other question. She sat with me and said, okay, 10% seemed to be a long stretch. How about 5%? I looked at her and shook my head and said, no, that's not happening either. And she said, how about 2%? I did stop and think about that for a second. That is a possibility. It wasn't a full commitment, but it was a possibility, so I said yes. And she said, cross the 10 number off, put 2% on there, and sign the card. And she reminded me, tithing is not about money. Tithing is about consciousness work. I did not know that then, I know it now. I trusted her. I wanted her to help in my business. I knew she would be the right person to launch where I needed to go. Within that 10 weeks period, I did launch my business. I have my first customer. What I learned from her was prosperity is not something we chase. It is something we cultivate. We plant the seed, we nurture it, we trust it, and that's what we teach here at the center. What we plant eventually does grow. So that 2%, eventually I increased it to 3% and 4% and 5% and 7%. It was a slow growth, but I did manage to continue that. Shortly after that, I became a board member here, and Reverend Emil, Deborah's husband, who was the minister here at the time, and he said, would you be interested in being our treasurer since you are an accountant? Again, I was like, no, that's not happening. I have no experience in being on a board. I have no experience being a treasurer either. And he said, Deborah was on the Agape board, and she can teach you how to be on the board. And I can teach you how to be your treasurer. And how could you turn that down? So again, I said yes to her. Yes to both of them. I'm not saying it is easy. It is simple, but it is not easy. Every time I'm challenged, I ask these questions. Where am I withholding? What am I afraid of losing? What would it feel like trusting completely? I am very blessed to tell you that within a few years, I let go of my unfulfilling job and started working in my business. That is my zone of genius, my accounting business. And I was in a bad relationship. My marriage did fail. I did get a divorce, but we became better friends. We are still good friends. We will help each other out. My health was not in good condition. Within few years, the doctors found that I had a thyroid condition. And I went through a minor surgery. Within few weeks, I was back to myself. So my finances, which I was living paycheck to paycheck, did get better. And I can truly say, trusting that a process works is what it helped me. My formula was tithe, which is sacred giving. The second thing I implemented through the class that with the 10 weeks when I went through, was it was stretching myself. Like standing here today is stretching myself. Number 3 is consistent. We have to do anything we want in life to be consistent in order for us to get better and better and better in life. So that formula for me still works. And so what Edwene Gain is giving her formula in this Prosperity Principle books. This is a good book if you're interested, want to know more about prosperity. You may want to pick up this book and know more about it. I continued my studying at the center, watched Reverend Deborah. When I met her, she was a practitioner, and she went through ministerial school. I continued my studying. I became a practitioner here, and I took possibly a year break, and I decided something nudged me and said, you need to do more. So I went through 4 years of ministerial school and graduated about a year ago. And I was really hoping and wishing Reverend Deborah would attend my celebration. But she's not in this earthly plane anymore. Because she coached me, walked me through every step of the way, anytime I needed help. It doesn't matter, it's business or personal. There was someone I could go to, and she was that kind of a person. I missed her on my celebration, but Reverend Emil did attend the celebration, those of you who were here, and he even sang during the celebration service. And he handed me a gift. He said, don't open the gift until you get home. I'm glad he did. Because this is a book, this is a leather-bound Science of Mind textbook from Reverend Deborah. It was her book given to her when she left the board at GAPE. Inside, there are many of her friends have written what they thought about her. In the front of the book, Reverend Emil signed it and said, I know Deborah would love for you to have it. She is still with me, and as I'm getting chills talking about it, every day. I will never forget what she taught me. Tithing is not about money, it's about consciousness. And she also taught me, I cannot outgive God. And that is the message I want to share with you all today, that we need to trust more. If we don't trust ourselves, we may have to trust someone else who does a little bit more trusting, who can walk us through the path of what we are here to do. I want to share a quote with you. This reminded me of Deborah. What we live for ourselves dies with us. What we do for others lives forever. And Deborah is continuing to live in my life. And I know many of you know her very well. And I know she lives through all of you. That quote is from Albert Pike. I would like to take this message, you cannot outgive God, into a prayer. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Stand with me and Deborah this moment. You cannot outgive God. I cannot outgive God. We cannot outgive God. Because you know why? God is infinite. This moment I am very grateful to share this message with my community. And I am grateful that I crossed Reverend Deborah's path. And I'm grateful for her teaching. And she is not just a preacher. She lived what she taught me. I watched her every moment. And she's just a beautiful soul. So from that space, I am recognizing, knowing that one present in all things is right here, right now. It is in and through each and every one of us. It is the creation, it is the creator of all things. It is the sustainer and the maintainer of all things. You cannot outgive God. And I am in gratitude for sharing this message with you. I am in gratitude for Reverend Denise for stretching me to be here on the stage. I am grateful for the center that has been given to us for members from the past. And it has been around over 50 years. And that is tithing from the past. And what we do today, we never know where it is going to support, who it's going to support, how it's going to support. But it is ours to open our hearts and mind to give from our heart. Everything is all good. So I'm in gratitude to share this message. I'm gratitude for this awareness. I'm gratitude to be awakened for sacred giving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For this and so much more, I am grateful. I let it be. Join me by saying, and so it is.